high. So first step in turning on the lights is you need to turn on the dimmers because these supply power to the lights. So you just gotta turn both of these on. One dimmer, what switch corresponds to these things. Now these things are the actual dimmers. They take a huge main supply source into here and then they distribute them all to the different lights. So in the past we've had, if we've plugged in too many lights, we've had one dimmer fail. So when that happens you can just reset them. You just turn it off and then turn it on. Usually, ideally, you want to make sure that one of the dimmers doesn't like shut off in the middle of the show. So that means there's only a limited amount of lights that you can really plug in. Usually that situation happens with the lights on stage. About that later. So this one, the switch goes to the auto shop. Now this switch remains on constantly because that leads to a power source in a different room and we don't want to accidentally turn something off that they're working on, which is kind of dangerous. This switch is the power source to the theater, like in general. This one also always remains on, just because it's safer that way. Cool. So that's basic dimmer stuff. Now, on the back of these dimmers, there's these little plugs. Now these plugs are connected to this giant mess of cables right here, and these go up and they distribute the power to like all the lights. So this cable will correspond to like a set of like 5 or 4 lights throughout the theater. We have a box of things here. These hold the gels. Now there are different sizes for each lamp. So for example, these would go in different ones. This one is more new, so I would use this one. This one obviously goes for bigger lights. This one goes for small lights. Some correspond with power, some correspond with ellipsoidals. These go on rails. They're like, you can put them on the front of them and you can have like kind of this window effect where you can close them and open them.
They're called barn doors and they help keep the light focused in one place instead of it spreading all over the stage.
That too. And then we've got our light bulbs in here. Now in here are bulbs for scoops, and the thing is with these bulbs is that they're very like fragile, so you need to make sure that you don't touch them with your hands because your hands have oil on them. If you touch them on the hand, and if you like accidentally touch them with your hands without having like gloves on or whatever, then there's a possibility when you plug them into the lights that they might explode. So that's not very good. It's very dangerous. We don't want that. So if you feel like you've accidentally touched it, then you can just get one of those like glass cleaning cloths, and then you can just clean the light bulb that way gently because those things are a little fragile, and then that should be good enough for those lights.
Alright, so we're talking about gels for the lights. This is where we keep all of our gels. They are all sorted by different colors, like this purple, green, and orange, and they just slide open and they have gels inside. So for gels go in the front of the lights and color the lights. They're really cool, great for creating like themes on stage, and they're great. And what we do is when you have a gel, they come in these really big sheets, and sheets, they're over here, but too lazy to get them out. And you take the front part of the light where you put the gels in, and you trace them out on the gel paper with a silver Sharpie because we're extra. And then there are numbers on each of the gels, and you label each one that you cut out with the silver Sharpie as well. So this is 3,500. Sounds like a car name. It's really cool. And so yeah, that's the gels.
We have extension cords for the lights. So this is usually the prong that goes into the lights. And since we don't have any double pronged, like one area meant specifically for lights, we have one connector that's for lights and then one connector that's your standard 3-prong tool. Usually they can connect together like this. Hang on, I'll find one that works. Some of them are a bit bent, unfortunately. So you'll end up with stuff like this. Usually what we do for all the lights that are hanging up, we'll show you later, is that we'll have an extension cord so that we can link the lights to the power system. Now, I'm going to show you with what happens when an extension cord isn't used properly. Yes, this is what happens when you let these extension cords, these orange and yellow extension cords, get way too close to the lights. Now this causes the lights to melt because these to melt because they're not really built to be hanging so close to the lights. It's better if it's in close proximity but not touching. This is what happens when it touches the light. So that's a bad thing.
It is bad.
Bad. Okay, so how to turn on the light board. First, you need to make sure that the dimmer is on, which I've already shown you already. Next, there's this little switch all the way in the back. Oh God, right here. Do you see it? Probably. Okay, there's a little switch. You flick it on, and there's this little light that comes on right here. And the monitor should turn on.
If it doesn't, well, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, well, it should turn on. If not, then you need to make sure that
Oh my
there's
god.
this cable in the back called Crt Display. It's a big rectangular boy. This boy. And this connects to the monitor. So if the monitor doesn't turn on but the light board turns on, I would just make sure you check the connection. This switch right here is called the Grand Master Switch. This controls all of the lights on stage as a whole individual being. So it doesn't matter. So if I turn this on, then if the rest of these lights are on 100%, then this will control all of them at once. Okay, but since our board has been glitching out lately, we want to keep this at 95 or lower. And that's how you can tell the percentage of the Grandmaster Switch. So, what are these buddies? So each one of these lights is corresponding to a single light, single or multiple or two lights conjoined together. So let's try 42. See, I raised 42 up to 100, and there's a light that appeared on stage.
Flicker it.
You get it down to 0, then there's no light. 100, wow, there's a light.
Wowza.
So what these blue tapes mean is that these faders aren't programmed to any lights. So they're kind of just empty spots, hopefully waiting to be filled later. Now with some of these lights, they have conjoined lights, right? So you can see on stage that there's 2 lights being shined on right now. It's because they're being connected to the same power source.
Flicker.
So since they're being connected to the same power source, this channel fader controls them as an individual one. Okay, so that's pretty much how each of them work. These little buttons help turn them on instantly to all the way, so you don't have to move it all the way up again. You can just click it, and it's boom, 100%. Click it, boom, 100%. It's kind of the simple, easy way to find out which light cue you want to use, instead of going like this, or all at once. So, these 2 buttons, you want to make sure that these are called the channel A-B faders. Now, these are the main faders. These decide whether the cues load up automatically or manually. If they're all the way up, that means that they're automatic, which means you can just press cue, number, go, and they'll load. But if you do manual, that means you have to manually set up these next cues on the fader, which, you know, isn't fun. Now, these things are called the CD faders. Now, they're not entirely that helpful. What they do is that while the AB cues are loading up a cue, we can have the CD faders load in a cue on top of that. I will now show how to record a cue. So first, you set up your faders to whatever levels you want them to be. I think I like the look of that.
Snazzy.
I think it's a real nice jam. So you press record, cue, whatever number you want that cue to be, and then you press enter. That should already cue. Alright, see? Q5. I recorded Q5 and it's already there. So let's see if it actually works. So I'm going to lower down these faders and I'm going to press Q, whatever cue I just loaded in, which is Q5, and I'm going to press go. And wow!
Magic.
Look at that.
Magic.
Alright, so say that's a little too slow for my taste. I don't like that. So there's this nifty button called time, and fade time is how long the light takes to go on stage. So say I want it to be like instantaneous. So I'll put 0. Right? But there's down fade time to see how long the lights take to exit the stage. Say, you know what? I like it a little long, so I'll do 3. And press enter. Alright, so then I'm gonna clear the lights, which I can use. Press this button here. Clear. It clears the lights on stage.
Whoa, they're gone.
And then press Q, 5, go. And then oh wait, okay. So the thing is with the down fade is that you need a cue next to it in order to create in order to see that transition between the down fade. So let's create another cue, shall we? So let's clear the lights we have on stage and let's try these buddies. And let's record this for Q6. So once again you press record, Q6, enter. Cool. So let's see how that sequence of lights look. We're gonna press Q5, go, and then go. See? It's beautiful.
Okay, so this is kind of another way to bring up lights and record cues.
It's called the button
method. So with the button method, we don't use these at all because they're stupid. But it does require a bit more memorization. So what you want to do is hit the channel button here, so that has its green light on. And this lets you control the channels. So if I want to control, let's say, channel 19, it will highlight it up on the board a little bit higher when I click on it. And then if I hit the enter button over here, it lets me control the level that the lights are at. So let's say I want to bring it up to like its full extent. I could hit 99 and there the light goes on automatically, which is really cool. But since it is like a captured channel, it says at the top it's like on forever, and it's like it doesn't turn down on its own, so you can't just bring lights up and down really, really fast. So in order to get rid of that light, you hit the release button at the bottom, and that makes the lights go off. So one more time, just to go over how to turn on like one light specifically, you hit the channel button, you hit the number of the channel that you want the light to turn on, you hit the enter button to select it, and then you select your level number, so how bright you want it. Let's say I want it 99. And then it goes up, and then in order to release that, you hit the release button. Now there are a couple other things that you can do so you don't have to record all the lights separately. You can do multiple lights together by using the channel 19. Let's say that I wanted to use that. And then there's a button over here where I can hit and I can select like another light. I just hit 66. And then after doing that, I can change the levels of them together, which is cool. And then there is another way to do that, so I'm going to release those. Let's say I want to do like 19 through 24. I want all those lights to go up. So I hit channel 19, and then there's the through button. I hit the through button, and then to 24, and you can see it on the board, it selects all of those. And then when I hit enter and input the lights, it does it for all of them. And then doing that, once the lights are up and how you want them, you can record the cues just like you normally do with like cue, let's say I want this to be 8, record and enter. So now that is our cue 8. I can release the lights and do cue 8 go, and there it is. And that is the basics of the button method.
Alright, so that's how you input cues. Now let's try to delete cues. So you go back to the whatever cue you want to delete. You know, cue 5, it's not looking great for me. I don't like it as much anymore. So you're going to press S7, which on the screen it says more soft keys, which you can use for reference. So S7, and you're going to press S6, which on the screen says delete. So you just press enter, and then ta-da! You have to click enter twice and then delete the cue. Alright, I'll do it again for cue 6. So I'm gonna press Q6 because that's the cue I want to delete. I'm gonna click it, click enter. Then I'm gonna go back to S6 because it's already on the menu screen. S6, enter, and then they're gonna ask you like, hey, you sure you want to delete it? And I'm like, yes, I want to delete it. So you press enter again. Ta-da! There you go.
Hey guys, so I figured out how to link the cues because Isabel is a dunce and couldn't figure out how to do it. So what you do is you select the cue, the first cue that you want to link with the second cue. So let's say I want to link cue 8 to cue 9. So I hit the cue 8 button, and as you can see on the monitor, it is on cue 8. And then I hit the link button, and then I hit 9. And as you can see in the link section, the 9 shows up here. So then you hit the enter button, and then you hit it again. So this will make it happen because I am super cool. So to make that go, we hit Q8 go, and both on the stage and on the board, it will switch from Q8 to Q9. Once again, Q8 go, it goes from Q8 straight into Q9. And that's how you link the lights like a pro.
So what purpose would you use the linking lights from?
Well,
since you're a pro at it.
Yeah, you can use them to create like fast effects, like in Adam's Family, Isabel was talking about earlier, how we did a lightning cue, and we just had like the lights like all the way up and then all the way down, and linked the cues together a couple of times. And it created this fast lightning effect that made the lights go up and down really fast without us having to go like this.
Yes, because that's what we don't want to do, because it'll break the Grandmaster Switch.
Yeah, which is why we didn't do that. We decided to link the lights. Okay, so now that we have a bunch of cues recorded, we're going to show you how to delete all the cues in one mighty swoop instead of having to delete them all like individually, which sucks ass. So on your board, you go to the setup button over here. You hit the setup button. If you look on your monitor, it has a bunch of different like things that you can do, but we want to go to clear functions, which is number 4. So we hit number 4 on the number pad. It selects that, and then we hit enter, and it'll go to the next like slide thing, I guess. And then what we want to do is clear cues, which is number 2. So we go to number 2 on the number, it selects it, and then we hit enter again to clear the cues, and then the monitor always likes to double check to make sure you know what you're doing. So we hit enter again, and that means that all of them are deleted. So in order to go back to that, you hit the stage button, and it will go back to this. And then if you just like go to Q7, wait, Q7 go, it won't be there. It doesn't exist anymore.
So how do you clear the lights off the stage then? Because I still see lights there.
You just hit the clear button.
Wow! And it's all gone.
It's all gone. And now you have clean board, clean lights. It's fresh.
Nice.